When we ponder the Trans-Pacific Partnership, climate change, not least of all the US-Australia Free Trade Agreement. All these are topics being debated at an international trade and investment conference in Sydney this week, dubbed the Dynamics of 21st Century Trade and Investment in the APAC conference. It's being held as part of the US Studies Centre Alliance 21 project, seeing international experts look at the field's most important challenges, not least of all the developments in this region. One such expert, Dr. Claude Barfield, a resident scholar at the American Enterprise Institute, has been discussing the United States, East Asian regionalism, and he's now exclusively live for you in our Sydney CBD studio. A warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
Just some breaking news that I'd value your commentary on, just crossing on Reuters, and this is the spat between China and Japan over disputed territories. The Secretary General of ASEAN saying that this issue, if mishandled, could lead to loss of confidence in East Asia as an engine of global growth. These comments are coming as we get news on Reuters that, if anything, China is planning to board ships in those disputed seas. ASEAN's dubbing it a serious turn of events, an escalation of tension. What's your reaction? How might the US intervene, or is it going to play a backseat role?
Well, I think the United States, Secretary Clinton and the President already made clear that we have no position on the specific issues about territories. What we do have a position on is that this all be settled peacefully and that you go to some sort of international forum, either a multinational forum in East Asia or some other tribunal that is not doesn't have a stake in this one way or the other. I think the United States will obviously be concerned about what seems to be an escalation and a hardening of a position of the Chinese. I think in terms of the Trans-Pacific Partnership that you mentioned, I think as a general rule, this partnership is an economic agreement, but it is also a way of keeping the United States very much anchored in Asia. And the degree to which the Chinese make mischief or are belligerent, bellicose, is the degree to which I think these nations will increasingly look to the United States, not to intervene in any way militarily, but as it has been for the last 4 or 5 decades, a kind of guarantor or attempted guarantor of peace in East Asia.
Just explain, if you could, and you document this so well in one of your recent papers, how things have changed when it comes to almost the messianic tone struck by the United States over foreign jurisdictions. Rob Zellick, acolyte of James Baker, to quote, United States will use this moment of opportunity to extend the benefits of democracy, free markets and free trade to every corner of the world. Is that still their raison d'etre?
Well, I think that's one of the United States' purposes, whether it's in Asia or Europe or Africa, are multifold. And that is that we certainly want to advance the rule of law, of human rights, of democracy. But it is also, the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement is a major, if it succeeds, will be a major advance in trade liberalization, and by that token, a major advance in terms of economic activity among the nations who are involved. There are now 11 nations that are involved. It is hoped that sometime in the next year or two, we will also include Korea, Japan. While the President was in Asia last week, or 10 days ago, Thailand, it said that it was interested in joining. So, like any nation, but particularly the United States, we have multiple purposes in our diplomacy, some economic, some human rights, some political, and some security.
And then the elephant in the room, as you flagged, being China, and you might get a Trans-Pacific Partnership up and running. You might embrace augmenting the existing membership and widening it, but China might well say, thanks, but we'll set up our own copycat organisation. That's the subject for another conversation. Claude, we are out of time. I do apologise, but do thank you for coming on.
No problem. My pleasure.
American Enterprise Institute's Claude Barfield there.